Hi everybody, this is June 5th, 2026, and this is a channel about cross stitch. I've got, my name is the Ogden Stitcher on here and on Instagram, and I just wanted to share some things that I've been working on. I will start out with, I ordered this new sampler from the attic because I couldn't resist. Ellen Franklin. I got this from the attic in Mesa, Arizona. And this is the fabric and the floss that they sent with it. I ordered the whole thing. I fell in love with it. Carolyn does a great job, and the girls down at the attic, I love their stuff. So I ordered that. That is one of my acquisitions for the month. May was a long month, I'm just going to tell you. I was scatterbrained all over the place. The other thing I bought was these thread organizers. I bought these off of Amazon. I'm going to start another HAED called Dragon Race. When I get close to starting it, I'm just starting to get things ready. It's twice the size of my sea turtle, which I'm going to be showing you here shortly. But I needed a way that I could have threaded needles and keep them there, and so I'm slowly acquiring stuff for that kit. But these were only 10 bucks on Amazon, so I ordered 2 of them. So we'll see. I'm just gonna put in the ones that have the most stitches in that piece, and then the rest of them I'll put on a ring if I have more than 100. I think they each hold 50 floss, and so if I get to the point where it's more than 100 threads, which I haven't really counted, but I'm sure it's pretty close to 100. If it's more, the ones that have the least amount of stitches in that color, I'll put on a ring. Okay? And then, speaking of my sea turtle, I even am organized and made notes, which I don't normally do, but I thought, last month's video sucked because I was so scatterbrained and so unorganized. I thought I needed to get my stuff together. So this one is Sea Turtle Serendipity. Sea Turtle Spirit of Serendipity. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. I am at I'm almost 56% right now. I've been doing 5,000 stitches a month. And maybe I won't lose my needle minder this time. The last time my puppies, they would go after it. So this is where I'm at. I worked a bunch up here, and now I'm back over here. So I'm just doing 5,000 stitches. Last month I think I actually got over 6,000 stitches done on this piece. And I'm really loving how it's turning out. When I need some comfort stitching, which the month of May I really did, I was really struggling with some personal things, and I just needed something that was repetitive, kind of. And when you start to do the water, you're doing the same colors, right? So I was able to get in a lot of stitches with just a few different colors. Okay. That's Sea Turtle of Serendipity. And then our Sal, which is our Let Love Rain Sal. This is by Teresa Kogut, Let Love Rain. I'm sure most of you know it already. I've shown it several times. So we do a we do a section a month, and right now I'm right. Sure I am. I'm right here. I need to finish this and the flowers on I'm working on this butterfly over here, but I need to finish the flowers down this side. And let me fold it in half and you might be able to see it better. There we go. I need to finish the butterfly and then the border for this month. And then, and this fabric is 40 count Smoky White by Zweigart. You guys should be impressed. I even looked it up and wrote it down in multiple places. So I knew it was a Zweigart fabric, but as I said, Things have been a little scatterbrained lately. So anyway, that's my Love Reigns out, which I've been working on. And then I just started working on this again. I love this. I love Flossabilities. I love their patterns. So this is Chalet in the Snow. Now I'm going to change some things on this, and what I mean by that, I'm still going to do the whole pattern, but up here I finally got the Petite Treasure braids, and some of the pinks and the purples I'm going to do part of that in a glitter, just half stitch. So I plan on doing the first leg of the stitch in the floss that I'm using, which is Roxy Floss Co. And then the second leg I'm going to do in the Petite Treasure braid, so it sparkles, okay? So you'll see that as I move along in this piece, but I love this piece, and this is where I'm at. And yeah, if there's a needle in here, I have a bad habit of leaving my needle in there. Sometimes I get stopped doing things, and I have to put it down, and then I forget. I don't want to lose my spot, so I leave the needle in there. I shouldn't, but I do, and this is my needle minder, but that's my Chalet. I'm just finishing the top layer with the snow. Loving this piece. Love her patterns. This is on 40 count anthracite. That's also a Zweigart fabric, and that's what I stitched the first Cabin in the Woods on, and I loved how that turned out. So I'm doing this on there too, and you can get that on 1, 2, 3 stitch in all the counts. But I would highly recommend you use a really strong light, because the fabric is very dark. It's not black, but it is very dark and difficult to work with, especially when you're doing 40 count. So that's what I tell people. Make sure you have good lighting when you're doing 40 count, because I love 40 count, but I've learned that over time that you have to have good lighting. So okay. So in the month of May, I ran a Whitmania on with my local stitching group, and we were supposed to stitch 30 minutes a day. We chose 4 whips, and we were supposed to stitch 30 minutes a day for 7 days on each whip, and they could break it up how they wanted, right? Or they could do 7 days and then do another 7 days on the next one. And they got points for their daily stitching. They got points for some bonus stitching I did. And then I tallied up. And then they got bonus points for if they had any finishes for the month. So my first one was, which is the one I did the best on, was my Chatelaine, which is a mini. So it's this one down here, and you can't really see it very well, but that's what it's supposed to look like. And then this is on a 32 count fabric. It's a soft ivory, I can tell you that, but I don't know the dyer. It was in my stash. I had used part of the fabric for something else, but this is where I'm at on it. So I still got some cross stitching, and then there's some metallic Petite Treasure braids and beads that go on it. So I'm kind of happy. I did the most on this one, and I'm really happy with it. So that's my progress on that one. My second one was one that I'm changing it, because I had to force myself to stitch 5 out of the 7 days on it, and I just hated it. I thought I would be fine, and I can stitch on 8. I don't care, but this is my mousse. But it just became so difficult to work with this fabric, and I didn't like how it was turning out. I stopped working on him. So I'm just putting him away. I'm going to look for some different fabric to stitch him on and go from there. And I might have to do some DMC conversion, because of course I only got so much of the thread in this kit, but this is what he's supposed to look like. And I ordered this off Etsy. So you can still get this kit. I was going to change the fabric at first, and then I couldn't find a color I liked. So I thought, I'm just going to do it on the fabric that came with the kit. But quite honestly, I don't like how my stitches are looking. I don't like stitching on this fabric at all. So I'm just going to change it and be better that way. For me, it'll be better that way, right? These are the flosses that come with it. So I just need to do a DMC conversion on that. And then, but I am going to change the fabric. Yeah, I really struggled. I was like, I can't do this. So, and if you're not enjoying stitching on what you have, to me, that's a waste of time. I mean, my chatelaine at first, it was like, oh, I don't like how these colors, but once I got all the colors in and I could see what was happening on the piece, it all works out in my head. Because when I first started stitching the orange on my chatelaine, I was like, I don't know about this color. But then once I got in all the colors around it, made a whole difference. But with this one, I just don't like it, and I'm like, I'm not going to stitch on this because I don't like it. So that's why we stitch, right? Because we love to stitch, and to me, I'm not going to spend my time doing something that I don't enjoy, unless my husband wants me to. My next piece, which I stitched a little bit on this, but not a lot, is Christmas Garden. Blackbird Designs Christmas Garden. That's what it's supposed to look like. I did a conversion. Well, I didn't do a conversion. A shop that used to be here locally in Salt Lake, they did the conversion, and I kind of copied theirs, but then I changed 2 other colors. So this is where I'm at on it. I am making progress. I got frustrated with it because I did the border wrong. I had to rip out a bunch and redo the border. And so you can see I'm starting to redo the border over here, and I'm working on this piece here in the center. But that's where I'm at on that. Eventually I'll get there. And then my 4th piece I was supposed to stitch on was my Modern Folk Embroidery. I didn't even pull it out. So, I'm not going to show it because it's not any different than the last time I did a video. And even though I liked the piece, I was just frustrated at myself. And so I know that when I'm frustrated, I make mistakes, and I didn't want to do that on my pieces. So I decided I was not going to keep going and forcing myself to do something I didn't want to do. I learned a lot running this group for the Whip Mania Challenge. I enjoyed, the girls did great. I mean, every one of them did. I mean, like, one of them had 5 finishes in the month, and the other one had 3, and one had, I think, another 3, and those were the top 5. And then there were other people, they were diligent, they did it every day. And I just thought that was, it was great. Tracking wise, it takes a lot more in tracking than you realize. I created a spreadsheet and I was working on that, but it does, you have to stay on top of it. And I made albums that they put the daily stitches in and stuff, and that helped out a lot. But still, I got confused with some of the pieces and who was stitching. I thought this person was stitching on this and it was another person. So, or 2 people were had stitched on the same pattern or same project, just separately, right? And so it makes a huge difference in tracking. And I learned that, okay, so for next year, if I do this, which I love doing it, don't get me wrong, I loved doing it. I thought it was great. I think the girls learned a lot. One of the challenges that I gave them was they had to do 30 minutes of specialty stitches. And some of them didn't have projects that had specialty stitches on it. So they're like, what do we do? And I said, well, you can practice specialty stitches. Find some that, online. There's plenty of resources online that you can find some specialty stitches and stitch for 30 minutes and show that. And they did. And I had one of them tell me, thank you for making me do this. She says, I would have never done specialty stitches if you hadn't had me do this. So I think a lot of times you got to be challenged a little bit. And I told them, I said, my goal is not to be mean. It's just to try and develop us and get us to do more things. And I know a lot of people get intimidated by specialty stitching or beading, because I can tell you from beading, I was struggled with that at first. But the more you do it and the more you practice it, you feel more comfortable with it. And so that was my goal. So they did a great job. Another thing that I wanted to show that I didn't show last time, Kay in the Cave here on YouTube, Kara. I provided the fabric, but her mom, for a small fee, made us these bags. And I found this fabric online. It's Teresa Koga fabric. And she made me this bag. And she did such a great job. It's got some little pockets in here, up here, and some here on the sides. And it's just, I thought, and when I did my video last time, like I said, I was very scatterbrained. And I thought, oh, I forgot to show that bag. And I just want to thank Kay and her mom for doing that for me. It turned out great, and I love it. Like, I don't need another stitching bag, I can tell you that. I've got 2 or 3. So that's besides the zillions of project bags we all have, right? So I'm thinking this month I was going to start Robin's last prairie schooler. And I thought, no, I just need a month of stitching on what I want to stitch on. And right now, I need to do my Let Love Rain. And I need to do my 5,000 stitches on my sea turtle, because it's never going to get done if I don't keep pushing. But I think I'm going to spend a lot of time working on my Chalet in the Snow. I love that piece. Like I said, I love Flossabilities. I think she's a great designer, does a great job. I've got several of her patterns, and if you haven't looked at her stuff, I would highly recommend that you do. I think her color schemes, when I did Cabin in the Woods, I kept looking at the color of those trees because that's what drew me to that project. I'm like, I don't know if this is going to work. And then when I pulled the floss for it, because it's DMC, I'm like, I really done it. But once I got it on the fabric and all the colors came together, and I love it. It's beautiful. So I would highly recommend you take a look at her patterns. She does a great job. So I think that's where I'm going to put my focus this month, is just stitching on stuff that brings me comfort. I think I hear my husband coming. He had jury duty. He got selected as a juror. So he had to be in court all week this week, and he's got slated for next week. So it's been some long days for him. And he can't talk about it. He just talks about the procedural stuff, like, I don't understand why they do this or that. And so we discussed that. But yeah, he's on jury duty. So I kind of have, this week, when I haven't been out of the house, when I've been home, it's been very, very quiet, which I'm not used to. So it's different when you have a partner and they're coming in and out and doing their projects, and you're doing your projects. But that's where I'm at. I know my videos are short. I don't like to drag things out. I like to show my stuff, hope people get a good idea of what I'm stitching on. Welcome any questions that you have. I'm very happy for the people that have started following me. I say a lot. Sorry. Just learning the ropes of being a floss tuber, which is a lot more than what people think. And so I just decided, I got a little notebook, and then after this video, I'll start making notes for my next video. It just kind of helps me stay a little bit organized, and so that you guys aren't looking all over the place and I look like a person with Alzheimer's or something. But I will say this is not stitching related. I've been a reader my whole life. Like when I was a kid and in high school, I read a lot. And then when I started working in offices, when computers came into play and I was on a computer all day, I kind of got away from reading because I was looking at a screen all day and reading stuff, and it was kind of just wore me out. So when they came out with audiobooks, I resisted at first, but over this last year or so, I've gotten into audiobooks, and I get them from the library and I get them from Audible, that kind of thing. But I listened to this book this month that I want to recommend to anybody that's a reader, or I love to do it because I can listen to the book and stitch at the same time. So for me, I get to do two things at once, right? I want to recommend this book, 1,000 Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. I think on audio it's 13 hours, 13, maybe 14, somewhere in there. Be prepared, it's a tearjerker. There was one part where I had tears running down my face for an hour listening to this book. And, but it's very well written. She does a great job, and I highly recommend it. And I just wanted to put that out there, that if you're looking for something to listen to, and me as a person, sometimes I just need to cry to get out the emotion, you know, no matter what it is. So I'll watch Steel Magnolias, or there's another one I watch. And sometimes you just need to relieve that stress. So for me, that's how I relieve my stress, is I cry. So a lot of times if I'm crying, it's not because I'm upset, I'm angry, or I'm stressed out or something like that. And I just need to relieve that emotion in some way. So anyway, I just wanted to say I appreciate you guys watching and hanging with me. And I appreciate everybody out there that's taken the time to even spend a few minutes with me. It's important that we find the things that we enjoy and keep doing them. So that's all for now for this month. I'm about at 22 minutes, which is about the average. I run about 20 minutes on my videos, and it's just a quick watch. You can see what I got going, what I want to get going, and just try to keep it short and sweet. You guys have a great day. Be kind always, and just remember, you can always stitch your life away. Bye.